Hola a todos. Today we're joined by the way, how can I address you? Is it DEG or Greg?
Yeah, you can go with DEG.
All right, so today we're joined by DEG, the director, I assume, of DEG Mods.
Let's go with founder.
The founder of DEG Mods, who joined me to discuss the modding industry and the censorship. So my first question is really, it's about DEG Mods itself, because as a website and as a company, you guys are relatively new, and you appeared on the radar back in May, as far as I remember, May 2024. And it's always interesting, like when a new website that provides a relatively samey experience that many other websites do, but do something different. And it's always interesting for me, what exactly differentiates you from all the other modding websites? So what's that particular thing that makes DEG mods even necessary?
The exact release of DEG mods, I think it was in, let's say, July. I can't remember the exact. It's posted somewhere, but I'll get to it. But yeah, what makes it different? I mean, yeah, you're right. A lot of mod websites keep popping up, and a lot of them do shut down. And what makes DEG mods different is not being centralized and solving a very annoying issue in the market. And that issue is censorship. And you might say there are a handful of anti-censorship websites out there. I can recall 3 or 4 right now, but they are, even though they're anti-censorship, that's the core issue in the modding scene, as far as, like, from my perspective. Yeah, even though they're anti-censorship, they can and have still censored or will censor. So they didn't necessarily solve that issue. So yeah, even new websites and anti-censorship websites can still go ahead and delete mod posts and delete creator or user accounts. And considering that they're centralized, of course, they have the ability to control your account and edit out your posts as well. So that's the issue that hasn't been solved yet. And because of a new technology that has been released, I think back in 2021 or 2020, and discovering it around 2022, I think. And one day I just got pissed at one game being censored years later for some reason. So I thought, okay, that's not an issue. And I went to a modding website to get the uncensored mod, basically, to uncensor what the developers have censored. And that mod, that mod itself got censored. I got pissed. So I wanted a solution. And considering all that I know from this new tech and from my knowledge in the industry, gaming industry and modding industry, DEG mod was created, and here's where it differentiates itself from all other modding websites, which is DEG mods is a censorship-resistant and permissionless, and what I'd like to call true mod site. And what those words mean is that me as the owner and any other admin or moderator cannot delete mods or accounts or control them directly. And the creation of an account and posting of any kind of post, you do not need our permission to do it, even if we try to deny you. And that's what DEG mods is and what makes it unique and delivers on the, let's say, core essence of what modding is about.
I'd like to circle back a bit to the founding of DEG mods, because I distinctly remember that you guys just appear saying enough is enough. So I really wanted to know, what was the catalyst? Like, was it this mod or was there something else?
Yeah, I was playing, like there was a lot of mods that were being censored before, and there was a lot of games being censored before. It was tiring, it was annoying, and you make a fuss about it on social media, crap on other websites and all that kind of stuff. But I guess everyone does this, right? But I guess I got tired of it when I was playing Final Fantasy 7 Retrograde, the remake one, and there was, like, I was playing the game normally, and then suddenly, and this was like 4 years after the game was released, and yeah, suddenly there was a massive update out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. Let me look at the patch notes. Oh, they updated stuff. They removed, like, it wasn't too major, but then someone realized, oh, they censored a scene. It was about like a callback scene related to Tifa and what's his name? I forgot the main character's name. And yeah, they altered the scene where they covered her up more than what she was already wearing. I didn't really care about it, but in my head, it was just like, screw you. Like, why are you doing this? So I thought, okay, it's fine. Like, screw the company. Like, you're not gonna do anything. So, okay, fine. Let me go ahead and get a mod that restores the original package of the game. And then I went to one of these modding websites to, somebody already made the mod, and published it. So I went to that mod page and it got taken down. So I cannot get that mod anymore unless I keep digging on the internet, I guess, and try to find it somewhere else. But yeah, that's, like, at that point I thought, screw this, like, screw it. And then the idea came to me with the new technology that came out, and I thought, yeah, as you read in my pin post, like, enough is enough. The idea is, yeah, enough is enough. I'm gonna fix this problem, and to fix it to an extent of, I'll dominate the market and make everyone obsolete. That won't happen, but, like, that's the drive.
Or
Yeah.
maybe it will. Who knows?
I mean, there are things that will happen that will make this project explode, but yeah, maybe.
What do you mean?
Because of how the project is developed, it's not only solving the censorship issue, it's also, and not like censorship from the owners of a mod site, but censorship from, like, globally across different countries and across different ISPs. And aside from that, it's also, because of it, there will be a lot of DEG mods that are not called DEG mods. And there will be a lot of, how some mod creators have their own website for their own mods only, etc. There will be like a DEG mod version of that. And all of them are interconnected to each other in a sense of, if you're a mod creator and you made and I help you, this will come in the future, and I help you make your mod website, so your own website, it'll showcase your mods. Those mods published there, they'll also be accessible on DEG mods, and mods on DEG mods can be also accessible on your site if somebody has, like, the address. And that also solves the issue of a modder wanting their own page to direct their fans to. But the problem there is they suffer from not having discoverability, let's say. And because everything is interconnected, their mods will appear on DEG mods as well. They'll see where the mod has been published, like the domain. And people will discover the modder as well. So it's solving that issue as well for mod creators.
Well, now that you started talking about development, did you have any experience with website development and programming and so on? Or were you just like a disgruntled gamer who got sick and tired of getting sick and tired and learned everything just out of spite?
Funny you mentioned that. It's because the spite part. I'm assuming you've heard how the localization issue in a lot of game translations or anime translations, etc., they're not correctly translating, and they are injecting their own opinions, ideological input, and changing the script. Basically, it got so bad.
I really haven't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so now you know, like there's a lot of issues there, and it gotten so bad in my end and others, and that for me personally and others most likely, started to learn Japanese to get around this bad localization issue.
Isn't it difficult?
Well, the difficulty, how that's being ruined is, like, let's say an anime got released in Japan, they need it to be translated so that let's say the West can watch it in their own language. So let's say, they hire a studio that localizes, starts translating and localizing that anime. And that's where the issue lies. Those groups of people, not all of them, of course, but those groups of people, instead of doing a correct translation, they changed it up and, under the guise of localization, and change a lot of what was originally said. Yeah, when I got pissed and I wanted to start this, I'm not like a programmer or like a coder. I understand the concepts of it, and that's why, I would be in the process or part of the process of when somebody does the coding part, to basically help know where the direction of a particular feature or system gets developed. But in my personal experience in web development is on the front end side, so HTML, CSS, and Googling how to do a particular JavaScript. And that's about it. And like design and all the other stuff. And when the decision happened to like develop this project, I started a funding campaign, but not on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I started it on a site called Geyser, I'm not sure how it's spelled. And that part, or that platform, at the time, they're kind of changing it up right now, accepts Bitcoin as payment or to like fund projects.
Yeah, I found it. It's like
Yeah.
some Bitcoin crowdfunding platform.
Yeah, it's basically Kickstarter, but the difference is they mainly accept Bitcoin as payment to help fund projects. Yeah, that's literally the only difference. And now they do accept credit card, but it's not like unlimited. There's a whole process. I'll not get into it. But yeah, so, and that project or that campaign there got around like $2,000 in funding, and mostly because of one particular backer, thanks Merlin. And from that initial 2,000 and other people's donations, I also used, like, I realized at that point, I should spend my own money on this and make it and have it reach a particular state before I do another funding campaign on other sites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Am I correct to understand that right now you're funding DEG mods out of your own pocket?
Yes. So 2,000 from community funding through Geyser. That represents a very small percentage of what's spent so far on DEG mods.
It's just that as much as we all hate like predatory monetization and stuff like that, I think that if you are into a long run and want for your website, well, to exist for longer than, I don't know, a couple of years, you have to kind of monetize it somehow. So do you plan to, like, besides the new campaign, do you plan to, I don't know, maybe monetize DEG somehow, or what's your business strategy going forward?
Yeah, of course. I realize, or yeah, I realize that to make any project successful, despite what other people / projects may not have realized in the tech space that I'm or this project is in, have realized, yeah, money does need to come in, and not only through donations, to make it sustainable, to maintain it, to increase new features and systems, etc. So yeah, the business model for DEG it hasn't been activated yet, aside from, click the tip button. But the business model is having a subscription package that provides users with different benefits. These benefits include cosmetic, maybe some private access of some sorts, and the core benefit would be, of course, higher download speeds, or like increased limits on like server access, basically regarding mod files, downloads and uploads, etc. So that's the subscription package. The other monetization methods would be ads, though everyone hates ads, but ads will be on the site. I'll try to make it where it's not that annoying. um, and yeah,
That
and
will be interesting to see how not to make ads annoying.
well, yeah, you see, that's an art.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, those who subscribe won't see ads, of course. Aside from having subscribers, the ads are there for those who want to utilize the service for free. So like server costs aren't, they need costs, right? So that's why there are ads. So when you click download as a free user, you're getting what you want for free, but obviously you're gonna have to see an ad so that servers don't explode. And other than that, there will be marketing efforts that would in of itself generate its own revenue to help with the site. So for example, I created a mascot for the project, and that mascot will play a role in terms of marketing the project, from like videos and articles and collaborations and content production. So there will be content production on YouTube, on Twitter, on whatever other platforms, and all of these platforms, as it reaches a certain threshold of viewership or users or fans, it will generate its own revenue, of course, and that will funnel into the project. Oh, and merch, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get that T-shirts and
Yeah, the most basic
yes.
type of monetization. Yeah. You've mentioned producing your own content, and don't get me wrong, I mean no disrespect, but DEG mods, just like, I don't know, Nexus, ModDB, you name it, it's like this middleman between a mod and a person. So what content do you really plan to, well, produce?
You can, so for example, yeah, the site is now live, there are mods on it, and let's say the mascot, let's say, has been fully realized and is being utilized to create video content on YouTube, let's say. And for example, one video would be about weekly mod showcase, or using a mod for a game and having a playthrough with it, and having that mascot with the personality with it, or the actor behind that mascot, attracting users and entertaining them while showcasing that mod. That's just one example of one particular video, let's say, that would help both, entertain viewers as well as making them aware of DEG mods as well as the mod itself. So modders get the benefit of that as well from that exposure. And from the ads that come in that video, that would generate revenue and would help with development and maintenance as well as marketing.
Imagine you're approached by this big league money-bags company that claims to also be anti-censorship, and they propose to purchase DEG mods. Would you agree?
Like now?
Like, for example, imagine myself as a representative of this company. Like I said, it's just a hypothetical scenario. So, and I'm telling you, I'll give you, I don't know, $1 million like instantly, and you'll become a part of my bigger family. We'll fund you, we'll provide you with developers and stuff like that. And by the way, we're also anti-censorship. So would you agree to those terms?
If it was now, I would not do a full-on sellout. There are plans to have investment rounds to inject funds onto for the project, like percentage are allocated for investors, but not to the extent where I lose control. And so, for example, in this scenario, you would come in and I'd say, like, let you gave me $1 million or 10 million to fully buy out DEG mods. I'd say counter offer, give me 25% of that, and I'll give you X%. And until I achieve the goals of DEG mods, personally, I would not lose control of the project. So until then, you can invest, but you will not have full ownership.
Yeah, thanks. You've calmed me down a little bit, because that's basically what I try to find out, whether you value money more or independence. And you basically told me that you value independence more, and that's very reassuring, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, to add on to that, the reason, like my goal is to evolve the modding scene with this project, and its evolution is near proper freedom for everyone involved in the modding scene. And even when that is achieved and like the goal has been achieved and that's it, and I start selling the company, if I decided that at that point, type of investor who would want to have a full buyout of DEG mods, they're basically buying the brand rather than the system, because the project is open source, and considering the nature of the tech that's being used, if they do anything wrong, or if I do anything wrong, somebody can just come in, fork the project, put it on a new domain with a new brand. Everything is still there on that other thing, all the mods, all the accounts, all the comments, everything. So the risk of screwing up with this project, like screwing with the market, is so high. Like I'm incredibly incentivized, along with whoever buys the project at some point in the future, maybe, is incredibly incentivized to really not screw up and not screw with the market, like more so than other open source projects.
Now that we've discussed all those unpleasantries, let's get into the meat of DEG mods itself, namely your Nostr protocol. Is it Nostr? Nostr? How do I pronounce it?
Yeah, how I pronounce it is Nostr, but yeah, Nostr. So, and that stands for notes and other stuff transmitted, I think, through relays.
Basically, what I wanted to ask is, well, I've read your blog post about Nostr, I've read the repository, but I'm a video game journalist, so I am not
Yeah.
really tech savvy by default. So I wanted to ask you, how exactly does it work? Like, dumb it down a few pegs.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so it's not developed by me. It wasn't created by me. It was created by, I think, a Brazilian called Fiat Jaff. I think that's how it's pronounced. And explaining it in simple terms is, do you know that, just by any chance, do you know the Fediverse or what's it called, Mastodon? Well, the idea there was to have like a decentralized social media, basically, or a decentralized Twitter. They failed because it's not actually decentralized, but I'll get into it later. But yeah, to explain what Nostr is, imagine, let's take Twitter, for example. You make a Twitter account. So once you put in your details, you click submit, it goes to their server and creates an entry for you. Oh, here's your account. And from your account, you type a post like, "Hi, I'm a game developer." Click post. That post is created, is sent to their server, and anyone who follows you on there gets that post from the Twitter server, and they see it. That's how Twitter works. If you want to apply that to Nostr, let's say there's a Twitter version of Nostr. There is, and how that would work is, when you create an account on Nostr, it doesn't go through a server. You can create it offline. An account is basically a mathematically generated key pair. If you know about encryption, there's a public key and a private key. Public key is basically your username. Private key is your password. And those two are mathematically generated. So
it's like a P2P style system?
in a sense, I'll get to it. It's kind of both P2P and server-based. But yeah, so that's how accounts are generated. So offline, it doesn't need a server. It's just math. So yeah, once the account is generated, and let's say you're using a Twitter-like app on your phone that's based on Nostr, you log in with that key pair, and it verifies that this is your account because you have the private key. And once you want to make a post, like, hey, I'm a game developer, and you click publish, it'll create a file with that content and digitally sign it with your private key, which means that only you have actually created that post and nobody else, and sends a copy of the signed content of, "Hi, I'm a game developer," to 5, 7, 10, 100, however many you choose, different servers that are like Nostr based, and it'll stay there basically. And if somebody wants to view that content, so let's say I'm following you, I want to see your posts, I would hit up any of these servers, look for you, and see your latest post. They'll bring up that file, verify that it has been signed by you through your public key, and I know that it has been signed by you. And yeah, I see, I'm a game developer. So it goes from person to server to person. However, they're developing it so that you can also be your own server, like on your phone itself. So that's why I said it's both P2P and like P to server to P. And yeah, so nobody controls it. You can put it on your own server, have backups everywhere, and that's how it's done.
So am I correct to understand that for regular user, the only reason for Nostr to exist is to ensure that you guys cannot mess with the mods and censor them, delete them, ban the user, and stuff like that? Or is there something else in it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've explained it with one example, like a Twitter version on Nostr. But as you can see, I've built a mod website using Nostr as well. The utilization of Nostr can produce a lot of different products or services on the market. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Twitch, a lot of things can apply to it. And over time, you'll notice a lot of products that are utilizing Nostr, not just DEG mods. And yeah, for the purpose of DEG mods with Nostr is because of the system and how I've explained it, you don't need our permission to create an account. As I've explained, it's mathematically generated. So without internet, without anything, you can just create an account. And because of it, since we don't know your private key, we cannot post on your behalf, control your content, or delete your account. Like, account cannot be even deleted. The method of deletion on Nostr is you lost your key. That's the deletion. If you make an accidental post on Nostr that you didn't want to send out, you know the saying, whatever's on the internet stays on the internet. It's amplified here.
Here it's a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature. I mean, there is a like, we recently added this, which is request delete, which sends out a ping to the server. Let's say a ping in Nostr's case would be like an event, and it tells the server, hey, can you delete this post that I made? Like, here's the verification signature, everything. Can you please delete it? A lot of servers will delete it, but some servers may not delete it, and might not respect your delete request. So, it might still be out there. And in terms of the UX perspective on my end and on other Nostr sites and apps, if they're doing it correctly, and we're doing this as well, if we detect that there has been a deletion request, we would just say, and somebody opens the post and the content is still there by some servers, we would just hide the content and say, this post has been deleted by the user, or requested to be deleted by the user. And we just don't show the content out of respect for the user who deleted it. But of course, the user can bypass this, go to a different site that doesn't do this, and just see the content.
So what you're saying is, in most cases, it's not really up to you.
Yeah, I mean, basically, be careful if you're not sure about posting whatever.
Yeah, but imagine there's this situation, for example, I've released a mod and I don't know, maybe a game got updated and I need to update the mod as well. Or for example, I've got a newer, better version of this mod. So if that's the case, same rules apply, or do you guys make an exception in this case?
Yes and no. Yes, in a sense of there is an edit button and you can update the mod post itself with whatever new content you want to update it with. On the background, what happens is it creates basically like a new post, and imagine when you create the first post, there's an address for that post, and under it is another address for the first version of the post. Then when you create an edit and publish that, it creates a second version of a post, which is like a new file that puts it on top of it, like a new ranking, and that main address. And so the address or link of the mod stays the same, but the content has been changed. However, and relays usually would discard, by relays I mean servers, usually would discard the old version based on how we implemented it. But there is also a chance that the servers won't respect the new order, or not show the new version, or not delete the old version. But in our case, it would show like the latest.
Nostr, as you've said, is an open source system, right?
Yeah.
And well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not too tech savvy, but I may know a thing or two about open source game engines. And whenever you deal with those, you usually have an ability to like expand on its capabilities by creating some plugins and add-ons and whatnot. So do you have any of those?
The initial versions of Nostr, let's say it's the initial version of Nostr was to create something like Twitter. So the guy made the protocol and made the first version of it where you can make a Twitter clone, but decentralized and censorship resistant and so on. And that's about it. And let's say I come in and want to utilize the stack for DEGMod's purposes. There isn't really stuff on it that would enable me to create what DEGMods is right now. So anyone, and in this case myself, can come in, create something like expand its code to provide different types of systems and features that would allow me to make DEGMods and just continuously add on to Nostr what I can. If it works, it works. And that enables me to continue to add new systems and features. Like, for example, let's say somebody created the DEGMods, like posting a mod. Somebody made that function, and I'm utilizing it right now. But let's say there isn't a commenting system on it. So I would go ahead and create the code to make comments. And now I can use comments on DEGMods, on the mod posts, and everyone else can utilize that same code. And yeah, that's it. That, I guess, in terms of creating plugins for game engines, is similar here. Whatever you think you can add it. It'll work, and the other people can use it.
Got it. Thanks. Maybe not the best of questions, but I'm really trying to understand how it really works. Like you've already said, you started operating last summer, so that would make you around 1 year old. So over this year, what were the highlights of DEGMods? What were the most memorable events related to the project, and how many users do you have right now, and how many mods do you host?
The idea of DEGMods came about in I guess a year by now. In terms of the site going live, it's almost a year. I think it's 10 months, I think, now. And the highlights of it is, well, one, happy that members in this very niche space of this Nostr tech space came about and wanted to help, like, financially with the backing on that community funding site that pretty much nobody knows. It's growing, but yeah, it was like a stretch. So yeah, that's one notable thing. Like, people came and donated and reached 2K in funding. So that was like a big highlight, at least for me. Which was also like one of the triggers of what factored into me deciding to use my own funds to continue this project and make it reach a usable state. So yeah, that's one highlight. The other highlight is meeting a competent development team specifically focused on developing like Nostr, like using Nostr. That was another highlight, which definitely helped bring the project where it is right now on a technical level. And because this is like new tech, it's simple tech from like my understanding of it, but it's still new tech. There's no like standards, not a lot of standards, not a lot of templates, not a lot of like if I went ahead and made this website normally like a centralized service, there would be a lot more systems and features and quality of life stuffs on the side, because everything is standard, everything is readily available and easy to understand and implement. But considering, yeah, this is new tech and none of that is available, that's why a lot of things take time, and why DEG mods in its current state isn't, let's say, as feature rich potentially as other sites. So yeah, that's another highlight of of the project, meeting set team and then focus on Nostr. I guess the third, maybe final highlight would be people almost, like, let's say in terms of percentage, this is not accurate, but let's say 90% of the market reaction to it so far, from its inception till now, has been positive and very receptive towards the idea of DEG mods. And even though some people might not like fully grasp the idea and capabilities of DEG mods, they'd still be very excited about it. And even those who might, let's say, hate or is hating on the project because they might think, oh, we're still censoring mods or will censor mods, after discussions and explanations, they turn around and they love the project. And that this whole positive reception to it, I guess, yeah, it's another highlight and pushes me to continue working on the project and making it better.
Yeah, and what about the numbers? Like, how many members do you have right now? Are you able to provide this information first and foremost? Because, for example, if you cannot, I won't push it. That's fine by me.
No, it's not that I won't push it. It's the answer is I don't know, because as I mentioned before, considering that accounts are generated without our involvement, we don't have a database of users. We don't have a database of accounts. It's just somebody would sign in and that's it. In a sense, we have a Nostr server and then the files server that has yet to be created. So even if we remove our Nostr server, we actually don't have any server, basically. The project still is alive and kicking. And I'm sure that might be confusing, but if you recall to what I said previously, DEG mods, imagine DEG mods as a internet browser, and it just connects to a lot of servers around the world from different domains. That's what DEG mods is. It's basically a browser rather than a host. When we do implement hosting features or like hosting mod files, that's like a separate thing, not necessarily DEG mods. That's just a service that can turn off, and I'll explain how mod files are censorship resistance, I guess, in a bit. But yeah, to answer your questions, I don't have the numbers because I don't have a database of users. I mean, there might be something later down the line where I can maybe collect some data regarding that, but basically anyone that has generated, or anyone that is a Nostr user is potentially also a DEGMods user. And if that is the case, I guess anywhere between 100K to more than 1 million users. But in terms of DEGMods users, I'm not sure. But I guess in terms of other numbers, on the websites right now, in terms of published mods that we have detected, there are around 400, I think, so far. So 400 that was published around the months / less than a year that the site has been live.
One of my earlier questions pertained to the possibility of DEG mods being purchased, and the reason why I asked it, well, first of all, to check what you value more, but the secondary reason was, I'm sure you've heard that Nexus mods got purchased quite recently by this mysterious corporate entity we know next to nothing about. So what's your take on this situation?
I think, well, the reaction to this by the market is more worrisome than normal, let's say. And the reason for that is because of that site's previous actions, let's say. So they have, I think, 24 years of history of their own decisions, their own actions, and you have your supporters, you have your haters on it. And because of that history, that accumulated history, and this event occurring and who purchased it, people don't have a positive outlook on it because of that history and because of who purchased it, and in terms of who purchased it, because of the available data on them, or lack thereof even. Yeah, people don't have a positive outlook on it. And in terms of my outlook on it, well, I mean, I'm biased, right? And considering I'm a competitor, my response would be nice. Like, I'll be honest, like, I mean, I don't want any mod site to go down because some people might like it, some people don't. I mean, obviously, in my perspective, the better, whatever happens, if it's benefiting the project, then let's go. But in terms of with the focus of, for the user, for the market, if people like Nexus mods, Game Banana, whatever other mod site there is, if they like it, let's hope they stay and, maintain themselves, and so that the user can still use it. There might be users that like Nexus, that like Game Banana, that like DEG mods. They like all of them, and they might get different things from them. So for the benefit of the user, let's hope everyone thrives.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic of Nexus mods, I know we've discussed it earlier, but let's just add it to this interview as well, because why not? Recently, they announced the upcoming implementation of new rules pertaining to age verification for users in the United Kingdom and the EU. So what's your take on that? Would you see yourself implementing something like that? And you've also mentioned that you have some tech that makes it impossible for any country to censor you. So were you talking about Nostr, or is there something else?
Considering that the, Nexus or Game Banana or whatever other site, there are a normal company, a centralized service, and they're physically / legally located wherever they are right now. Nexus is in UK, Game Banana, I'm not sure where, I think in the US. So they do have to follow the law, right? Like any other normal company. So if the law is telling them to, we've created a new law where you have to, not just do, are you above 18? Yes, no. You have to do a lot more than that. You have to do ID verification to make sure that the user who's using the site is an actual adult. And that entails, take a picture with your ID, or the better known system is called KYC, which is Know Your Customer, which is a system set in place to collect your ID, your face, your 3D scan even, and connect it to an account that has that verification fingerprint, let's say, digital fingerprint. And like they have to do that, I'm assuming, because of the law. And if they don't, they get shut down or something, I'm not sure, or fined. So most likely than not, it's not that it's their fault. They have to comply. And so that'll happen. And in our case, for DEG mods, wherever it will be legally located, it will have to, similar to Nexus, comply with the law. And let's say the DEG mods is based in the UK. We would comply by not, or like having, like if you're a user checking out DEG mods and we're based in the UK, you're in the UK or part of Europe and you're checking DEG mods, you will see a message if you are attempting to try to see an adult piece of content. You would see a message, hey, your country / your government isn't allowing you to see this post. Travel outside your country or visit another site that is breaking this law. It's your country's or your government's fault that you're not seeing this. In terms of the user, like what they would do if they see this, there is obviously solutions. One of them is travel outside the country, but that's a lot of that's very expensive to download a Tifa mod.
Yeah.
The other solution is a VPN, which makes you be digitally in a different location. The third solution is, well, the tech we're using, and the reason why we have this high stance on telling the user like, hey, you can see this because of where you are, is because there is a solution to it through Nostr, the tech we're using. And that solution is the site can be downloaded locally on your PC and still utilize it even if there is no degmods.com. Like the domain isn't needed. It's just there to make it convenient. And as such, you can play with the code of the project. And by play with the code, it's basically like a line or two. That's what you need to change. And all moderation is off. Or you can have your own moderation, like admin level moderation on it. And all the blockage, everything is off. That's one thing. The other thing is somebody might come in, take DEG mods, put it under a different name, like on a different domain, call it like notdegmods.com, and they can remove this like IP level block, and people can just go to it and they'll find the same exact mods. They can use the same exact account, and there you go. Like everything's still accessible. So we are complying with the law, but the user isn't complying with the law, and they have access to everything we have done.
Yeah, I think you've inadvertently answered my next question, because I wanted to ask if like push comes to shove and you're forced by the government to, I don't know, compromise in some ways. Would you be willing to move DEG mods to like deep web and make it only accessible through onion links? But I think you already answered that.
Yeah, to expand on that, DEG mods will be accessible through Onion or the Tor browser. And as I mentioned, it's accessible without even a domain. You can have it on your PC. It will also be accessible through something called Nsite, like N, the letter N, then site, S-I-T-E, which is basically like similar to how Tor works. This is basically Tor, but for Nostr. So it's Tor, but utilizing Nostr tech. So it'll be on there as well. And because of how Nsite works, and considering the future implications of it, if let's say like I come to you and work with your team for a day, probably not even a day, like half a day even, and implement the Nsite protocol or like code package to 80 level. 80level.com won't change anything. However, after this implementation, it would be so that you can type a really long string of text, but that's boring. So with a quick configuration, you just type degmods.80level.com and boom, degmods is there. So what that means is degmods would be everywhere. It can be on 80level, can be on, I don't know, youtube.com. That's not going to happen, but let's say it does. So any site that implements this Nsite thing, this Nsite code package, a lot of what Nostr offers can be accessible on any other site. So the idea of blocking DEG mods, including with this idea, including the running DEG mods locally on your PC and Tor and any other solution, it's basically like the response is good luck.
Yeah, got it. I just don't think our tech team would allow you to do that with 80 level.
Oh, of course.
Not my
Yeah,
call.
yeah.
So, are you a gamer, by the way?
Yes, of all genres. I play everything almost.
Yeah, so from your perspective, both as a gamer and, well, the founder and the head of DEG Mods, what's your opinion on the gaming industry right now? Let me rephrase that. Would you say gaming industry right now is better than it was 10 years ago or worse?
I guess better in the sense that it's a lot easier to make games, and as a result, there are a lot more games. There are a lot more people having a better entry point to create whatever game they want. So in that sense, it's better. In another sense, it's because of, let's say, economic and political changes and global changes, it has resulted in a decrease in talent or a decrease in hiring talent properly, which results in much lower quality games in comparison in the past. So I guess with these both responses, or what I said, there's more quantity than quality, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. And if I prefer now or before, I'd say I'm looking forward to the future because the now is fixed. It can be fixed. I guess I'm saying I can't really say I'm happy now than I am happier in the past 10 years in terms of like the state of the gaming industry. But I am hopeful of the future because these problems will most likely get fixed by competent people that are realizing issues and will get it fixed.
I envy your optimism. Honestly.
Well, I mean, but like optimism comes from, like proper optimism comes from seeing people getting pissed and they want to solve the issue. Like in my case, I'm optimistic about the modding scene because I got pissed and I'm bringing in the solution. Similar with other people, similar with other games. If you see someone like, I am the captain now, then you're going to see good results.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just more of a the grass was greener, the light was brighter type of guy. What's your favorite games, by the way?
Yeah, that's always hard to answer.
Is it?
Well, I mean, because like I like a lot of things. Like I play every genre almost. I constantly play games, and it's kind of like there's an overload of games that you like and you don't like. So, but in terms of what comes to mind right now, I like The Witcher 3. I like Rocket League. I like. I mean, I guess recently I'm enjoying Peak, that climbing game. I used to enjoy Halo, COD, Battlefield, Bad Company 2 specifically, for example. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games, and those are what came to mind right now. I did play a lot of World of Warcraft, around the first expansion till the fourth, and that's about it. Oh, and I guess in terms of one more notable thing is VR gaming, and specifically, I'm a heavy VR chat player.
So one last question, I think. Where do you see DEG mods? Well, let me rephrase that. That sounded like we're at the job interview. Yeah. So what are your plans going forward in general? So how do you plan to continue developing the website and the initiative as a whole? I think it would be fair to call DEG mods an initiative.
From the beginning, aside from like developing the initial, like the core system of having an account, publishing a mod, and downloading a mod from other users. So once that was finished, that's when the first version of the site was released. And from then on, aside from adding more fun features or systems, it was a lot of concern about having, let's say, protection against non-mods, spam, scam, etc. So that was like the second focus of the project, to implement systems that maintains quality on the site. And one of these systems would be called a web of trust system. So let's say I follow you on DEGMods, and like I trust you enough that I follow you, and because of this web of trust system, let's say you found a spam post, you blocked that user from my end, like from my feed, from my experience on the site, that user is automatically blocked because they have now a score of -1. And because of the system, a lot of there's a lot of automation happening in the background because of it. It's more like a user-based automated system that helps protect the site from spam and scam and all that kind of, or non-mods. And that's one system that's implemented to help maintain quality on the site. And the other thing, actually, before I continue, and I think this is just an important note, which is a lot of people seem to think that there is no moderation on the site, because I constantly say, the site is censorship resistant. So, and when I say like, oh, I cannot delete mods, they think, oh, there's going to be chaos. And then when I clarify that there is moderation on the site, I can hide mods, I can mark mods, I can block access to mods, though all of this can be bypassed, then they think, oh, there is censorship.
Yeah, I really hate this point because you say that you are anti-censorship, but for example, you do not allow, I don't know, things you're not allowed to say on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't allow that, and you hear this screeching that, oh, you're pro censorship. It's not pro censorship, it's pro common sense.
Yeah, well, no, well, specifically, what I'm trying to say is, because of this tech and because of DEG mods and the context of the modding scene, like both censorship resistant, like actual censorship resistant, and quality with moderation, both are achieved at the same time because of this whole package. So while I maybe, let's say you released a mod, and let's say, for example, I went crazy, oh, I don't like you, I'm going to mark you, I'm going to hide you from search discoverability, and anyone who clicks the link, they won't see the mod, they'll see it as blocked. They can either, one, go to the settings, disable moderation, and let's say I disable that option. You can download the project, like spend 10 minutes just fiddling with the code, and then you can see the post. Or if you're not a coder yourself, there's another website using the same tech that has the same content that hasn't blocked this, that hasn't blocked you, and then people can still see your mod. So yeah, that's why there is censorship resistance, yet there is still moderation, because people hate censorship, but they still want quality results, right? And this is achieved here. Like, it's honestly, like, for me, it's amazing. and yeah, like, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that point. But yeah, continuing on with what's going to happen next. Right now, we're adding a tag-based search and tag filtering. So, some mods, they have title, image, description, the download link, and, tags. So once the update goes live, people can click the tag and, search for mods on that game based if they have that tag or not. And the filtering based tag, there are users who are complaining that, there are some content that people don't like from Gore, Lolly, politics, etc. So once the update goes live, there will be defaults on with those tags that I just mentioned, maybe more, where it would hide mods with these tags. And so people won't see them unless they click the filter, the tag filter, and uncheck those defaults or add their own defaults if they don't want to see anything. So they would see them or not see them, basically giving more a more, quote, safe initial viewing experience for the user.
Basically an option for users to self-censor themselves.
Self-censor their viewing experience how they like it. So basically all the moderation, almost all the moderation tools that the site has from the admin side is available to the user. And basically the idea here of moderation is whatever, like, let's say you're a Nexus person, you want to have that level of moderation on DEG mods. You and your friends that have that same mindset follow each other, they'll start blocking or filtering, etc., etc. And the system will just work where you will have that experience on the site. Basically giving the user the power to have the experience what they want, rather than me as the middle man, let's say, between a mod creator and a mod enjoyer messing with that experience. Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing after that is the blocking system. It's not there yet. It has to be there for, for obvious reasons. In case there's bad content on the site, I'd need to block it, or if there's a DMCA request, I'd block that as well. After that, the biggest main thing to add that is left before, like, I'm like pretty happy with the site would be the mod file uploading system that also is censorship resistant. That's kind of related to Nostr, but like it's its own thing. So imagine, let's say you're a mod creator, you got your .zip file, your mod file, you upload it through the system that we've, let's say, added. It'll create a hash ID, or just imagine an ID for your file, and it'll be added on our server. It'll also attempt to mirror that file to multiple other independent servers from us globally, and have basically a copy of that on those servers. So in case we went ahead and deleted your file, there is a chance that the file is available elsewhere. So for the end user, like the mod enjoyer, that clicks download, will go through different independent servers, including us, to find that file based on that hash ID, and then download it. So if we delete it, it'll look through our server. It doesn't find it there. It'll look to a different server that's unrelated to us, that's owned by somebody else. And if it's there, it'll download it. So for the end user, it doesn't, everything's still normal, but in the background, that's what's happening. As well as in like the step after that, whenever that happens, we will have a button for the end user to mirror that mod to their own compatible server, like a server that's using the same structure as us, to have it, like to have a copy on their end as well. And they would have the option to give that mod post their server/site link where the file was hosted, so that in case any of the hard-coded servers that we've added that mirrors the mod files don't have the mod file as well, there is a community-based like side of this operation that continues to add more backups to the mod, so that in case DEG mods and all the other servers that we utilize on the site is not hosting the file anymore, it goes to that other community-based list to check if the file is there as well. Meaning, the more popular the mod is, the more censorship resistant, specifically the files, become. And so that's like the next steps. That in the near future. The long future is there will be a lot of DEG mods, and there will be a lot of personal modders with their own personal sites utilizing the DEG mod stack. So in the end, basically, there's DEG mods everywhere. And that's the end goal. Basically, ultimate freedom, ultimate options, decentralize everything. There's not just one place for mods that everything can go wrong. There's mod sites everywhere that's using the same tech and has the same mods everywhere, accessible everywhere, using the same account. So you don't have to make new accounts. You can't get banned. Mods can't get censored. And everything's just easily accessible everywhere. Everything is centralized and decentralized at the same time.